We're recording. Let's get this show on the road.
Should probably stop playing Forza then.
Well, I know if you really want, because I have a who the said that.
Okay.
It's easy to forget what a sin is in the middle of a battlefield. Who the said that?
Okay, so obviously a game based around war, so that narrows it down to almost
Everything.
90% of gaming.
Yeah. So it's not Forza 4.
You're right. I don't remember the for the Horizon post suggesting that that's how we move forward in the game. I'm at least trying to think of a character that I can at least guess with.
Yep.
Coming up short. What was his name from COD? Fucking
Soap?
Well, I was thinking Soap, but I don't think that's a line Soap would say. It's the other dude that was like his mentor. What was his name? McTavish?
Sounds about right. Yeah, that's...
Sounds big. But you know who I'm talking about.
I know exactly. Yeah, the big... big
the
Mo.
British dude.
Yeah,
the big Mo.
Big Mo. Yeah, that's not it.
Yeah. Is it Kevin Spacey's character?
No, it's not.
It's not COD, is it?
No, it's not.
Yeah, right. It's not Gears.
No.
Now I'm just guessing games.
Just guessing games. So we can wait for the end of the show. Tune in at the end and we'll let you know
forward.
who the said that. This is episode 233, and today is Thursday, the 4th of October, 2018. Welcome to the Aussie Gamers Express video game podcast. I am your host, Snoogs, and here with me, flying solo this evening, is my co-host, Grejio, who might be sounding like he's having an orgasm, but he's just playing Forza Horizon 4, sorry.
Alright, so I was just about to finish up, right, and I was tooling around, and I hit a jump, and without getting too much into it, but near the runway, there's a runway in the game, and then there's this jump that jumps over some concrete pipes, and it's got a little kicker on the side of it, so you can do corkscrews over the thing, right?
Yeah,
I know it. Yeah. Well, I just hit that, and I sort of drifted, so the kicker hit the center of my front bar, right? And I did this mad sort of flip. And then I landed it on the other side, so it looked awesome, right? I went to record it, and now my Xbox just came up saying there's a problem with the update, and now I need to either shut my console off or
have you tried turning it off and on again?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I have to check the network, and it's like the network connections died, and I'm just like, I just lost the ability to record that. Oh my goodness, that's... I can't record it. It was amazing. I'm so pissed. Oh well.
Oh well.
It's like when you go fishing and they go, I almost caught this fish. It was massive.
It was
I almost got it in the boat, and then the line snapped, and everyone's like,
Yeah, sure you did.
So,
all right. Well, before we start, here's this week's show in preview. First and foremost, as always, is video game discussion, followed by I have a little game that we like to call Project What Would You Rather? Foremost, what's that sound? And last but not least is last words. So over we go to video game discussion. Alright, first and foremost, welcome to Skrill. How you doing, mate? Welcome to the live chat. Hope you're having fun. Thanks for dropping in. Greg, I reckon we can start with you and Forza Horizon 4. Let us know the stupid amount of hours that you've put into it so far and the lack of sleep that you've had because of it.
Well, I can honestly say that yes, all those things are true. Okay, so this time last week when we were recording, we worked out that the game was going to release
at midnight.
To play at midnight. for those that had the Ultimate Edition can get on early. So I then decided that I would stay up and play until some unearthly hour of the morning, and it was unearthly.
Yes, it was 4 a.m. I was told this by a certain Remutha going, he stayed up till 4 fucking a.m.
Yeah, she, look, I have to, at this point, before I continue, I have to give a massive shout out and kudos to my lovely wife, Remutha, who, how do I put this? She very generously let me have a stupid amount of time on that game the weekend just passed.
So she's fed your addiction.
And she, yeah, pretty much. She didn't bat an eyelid. She didn't give me any of those sideways looks of you're still playing this damn game, and the kids are screaming and I'm juggling them, and she just let me have the weekend, and so it's a shame that she's not here tonight, but she's not feeling well. But yes, I want to publicly recognize that. Yes, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it and enjoyed it immensely. Anyway, getting back to the game. So I can now tell you that there is 531 roads in the game, in which I have driven on every single one of them.
Nice. So you found the one you were missing?
Achievement for it. Oh yeah, I found the one I was missing. To be fair, I actually don't know how I found it. I assume I've just clipped it driving along doing something. I've collected all the fast travel boards, all 30, 40 of them. I don't know what that. I haven't got all the influence boards yet. There's like a stupid amount of those.
There's 200 of them, I think.
Yeah, but look, I've given them a good nudge. I've got 130 odd of those.
Nice.
And there's let me sort of get away from me bragging about what I've done for a second.
Tell us how it flows.
Get back to it, because I will get back to it.
Yep.
So I just wanted to point out some new stuff that I've found in the game. So I don't necessarily want to talk about the same stuff that we've talked about already, and I don't necessarily want to talk about things that people already know if you've already played 3. I just want to highlight the things they've changed, because I think those are the things that are really important. So they've now added storylines to the game, and funnily enough, I really like them. They've kind of done it in a way where it's not overbearing. It doesn't feel like you're being removed from a racing game. Essentially, they're just a spot that generates a bunch of races or challenges or whatever from the one hub, and the stories kind of progress by a little bit of a video just beforehand, and generally talking to you while you're doing the challenge. The first one you come across, and if you played the demo, you would have already come across it. You may not know it was a storyline, but the stunt that you do for the movie where you jump the Chiron through the windmill, that's actually the first episode, if you like, of that continuing story of you being a stuntman for that movie.
We had a quick chat about this the other night when we all played together, or tried to all play together. And I was rather intrigued about how it worked, because I've done a few of them, but I've just had no time in front of it because my time's been stolen by something else that we'll get into later. But it's intriguing how they've done it, because so far it kind of just flows. It doesn't feel like you're removed from the horizon field to play this storyline section.
No.
Yeah,
no, I think they've done a really good job of kind of incorporating it into feeling like it's part of the festival. For me, the stuntman story actually is slightly removed, because it's kind of taking away from everything that's the festival to do this movie. But the other ones, they're really good. So one of them is there's a drifting group that wants you to be part of their drifting, and essentially all the challenges are based around drifting. Yes. And I know that the community at large has been really hankering for more meaty drifting in the Forza games, and there's a massive community for it. There's even like a esports dedicated just to drifting that's really picking up and running, especially on Forza, both Motorsport and Horizon. So there's that. There's also one that essentially one of the festival organizers gets together with you to create a business, which is like a supercar hiring company, and you go and wow clients by driving these ridiculous fast supercars through different challenges, whether they're timed events or speed traps or whatever. And depending on how many levels you've progressed and how many stars you've gained, because it'll give you a rating for the challenge out of 3. Depending on how many stars you've collected on the 10 levels, and so the most you can get is 30 stars, will depend on actually how much the business pays you a regular income throughout the game.
Oh, okay.
So when you leave, so at the moment, when I leave, if I come back the next day, I've probably earned about 12 grand off the business every day, kind of thing. So
I'm in the right business.
It's not huge. it's not gonna change your life, but it is just ticking over. So it's just one more thing that's earning you money in the game. The one that I really enjoyed, the storyline that I really enjoyed, and I don't really want to talk about it too much because I don't want to spoil it for those people who want to play it, is there's one where there's like a streamer, a gamer streamer, called La Racer, and she had this particular streamer. She really enjoys racing games, and what she does is she's organized with the festival to set up some races that replicate her top 10 cars in gaming. So the very first one you get into a Ferrari Testarossa, and you have to race from where she is to this point on the map at sunset, trying to get to the checkpoint, the last checkpoint before the sun goes down, essentially mimicking Outrun.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it because there was lots of games. Obviously, being a car game person myself, there were lots of games that I was just like,
lots of throwbacks,
this is lots of throwbacks. Like there's 10 levels, so there's 10 throwbacks. There's the top 10 games. Some I hadn't played before. Some were like, they weren't necessarily car games, but games that heavily featured something to do with cars. So yeah, look, they were difficult challenges, those ones, I have to admit. But they were I really found them rewarding, and I really enjoyed it. So that's one of the new things about the new Forza, which I'm really liking. If I can step back into the bragging thing already, I've finished the Stuntman, I've finished the business, I've finished the streamer. I haven't finished the drifting one because they are ridiculously hard. Because I'm not a competent simulation drifter. Let's put it that way. This is, like I said, this was put in there for the hardcores, and I think if you're a hardcore drifter, you'll love this.
Next time you come around, steering wheel.
Yeah, I think steering wheel would make a massive difference. Yep. Massive difference. Yeah. So the next thing that's changed is the live events. I know we've kind of talked about them a little bit, but now I've actually had a chance to do a bunch of them.
Yeah, how much fun are they? And there's this certain rush of blood that you get when everyone on the map that's there with you is racing towards this one point.
Yes, it is very cool.
And I've kind of torn between whether it's awesome that you can't hit each other, or whether it would be more fun if you could.
No, I can no. I'm glad.
Except like the speed traps would just be ruined.
They'd
with
be
that many
cancelled.
people.
To be fair, I think the ghosting system that they've got in this, and it's not just for the live events. There's a whole bunch of things. The ghosting that they've got on set up for that is really, really on point.
But you
really.
No, you don't. Even your own team, you don't hit, do you? You still ghost with your own team.
Yeah, you still ghost your own team. Well,
most of the time, I think when you're actually
most of the time,
when you're going between points, I think you can hit each other.
Yeah,
but
when you're
on the
in free roam,
challenge,
you can hit each other.
Yeah.
When you're in free roam, you can hit each other. If you're in a race, I think you can have low speed impacts, but you can't have high speed impacts.
Yeah,
like you'll just blast through them, kind of thing. That's kind of stop you from kind of griefing each other, like ramming each other through corners. And it's the same when you play online.
Mm-hmm.
They just ghost you out at any kind of speed where there's going to be an issue with you. Kind of, so it stops you from like just driving through people to overtake
griefing,
them.
Yeah, it's actually the whole
shunting people through corners.
Whole shunting, like the griefing side of racing, it's becoming quite apparent. I'm seeing more and more videos pop up on YouTube of people griefing on Forza 7, so Forza Motorsport 7, and also on GT Sport, where a lot of those people that are playing online and trying to race are just getting punted. And unfortunately, if you get punted and put off the track, you lose time. You actually lose more time than the person that punted you.
Yeah.
You know, they can get penalties and whatnot, but it just becomes annoying. But I kind of like the way that they've done it with Horizon 4. Skrill though, first of all, did I say shrill?
No, I did. When I said high shrill.
Good, because I've only had one. I see it above it. Yeah, so Skrill, he wants the mayhem of knocking around each other as well on the racetrack.
Yeah. Look, I'm pretty sure you can. I'm pretty sure you can turn it off. If you're in a private, I haven't tried it, so don't quote me on this. I have a funny feeling you can turn it off if you're in a private group. And things like the playground games, you're gonna have to be able to hit each other anyway. So those kinds of things, you'll have it switched off. But sort of bringing back to these live events, what happens?
Sorry, before you jump into that, have you used much of the chat feature during the live events?
No.
It is ridiculously intuitive, and it's actually really cool. Yep. So, for instance, what you can do. So, I think it's just left on the D-pad to actually bring up your little manual of what you can say. And so far, the culture, people just rock up and they'll be parked in front of you and they'll drive past, stop, and the next thing you know, like a little speech bubble comes above the top of their car. Hey, how you doing? Awesome, nice car, or something like that. And you're like, yeah, thanks, mate. Nice car too. Off you go. And it's like it's only very basic for what it is.
Yep.
But when you're out in the free roam world as well, you can actually, you want to drag race, you want to do this, you want to do that. Yep. It's actually really intuitive and quite good. Yep. And everyone seems to be open to using it too.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that there's kind of there's no real negative comments to choose from, so you can only ever be positive about someone. If you don't, and it's one of those, the old adage of your mum saying, if you haven't got nice to say, don't say it at all kind of scenario.
But so far, probably 90-95% of the people that I've seen and that I've gotten close enough to talk to, they all want to talk. It hasn't been just an ignore and drive away or anything like that. Because, I'm sure there's plenty you could do in a car that would come across rude. But so far I haven't had any of that. It's been pretty cool, actually.
Yep. So the live events, what happens is essentially you'll get a notice up on the screen saying a live event starts in X amount of time. It's usually about 5 minutes. It gives you 5 minutes warning, and it starts counting down on the top of the screen. That just allows you to finish up whatever you're doing, and then you can then head over there. And then there's a big area marked out on your map, where a big pink circle. You park inside there. You wait for the timer to drop out, and then if you're inside the pink circle, you register for the live event. Now, I do know this for a fact. There's obviously a minimum sign up for the event to take off.
Okay.
I was playing the other day, and I was the only person that rocked up. Everyone else seemed to ignore it. They were obviously done their challenges for the week or whatever, and no one turned up. And when the time went down, it just disappeared. And I was like, oh, okay, that's disappointing. Anyway, what it'll do is it'll pick 3 events for the live event, three tasks or activities to do, and they can range from all the sort of side missions, so speed traps, drifting, zones, jumps, and stuff like that. And what it'll do is it'll set a score to achieve, a goal score. So in the case of like a speed trap, it'll have everyone, like, you need to achieve, 2,000 kilometers an hour, right? And then so everyone will go racing through through the speed trap, and their scores will get accumulated until, bam, they reach 2,000 kilometers an hour. Like you said, it's manic when you've got like 20 or 30 people there, and there's just cars going both ways through speed traps, like
at full ball,
yeah, full ball kind of thing. And the drifting is just as hectic. It'll set a score, and you all have to achieve it, and there's just cars sliding everywhere. It's ridiculous. And the same with the jumps. Cars just airborne.
Just flying through the air. Yeah.
Just flying through the air, just constantly. And then once you've done that, it awards you X amount of Forza points. Now, this leads me into the next change that I've noticed, and that's Forzathon. So, Forzathon in number 3 was like a weekend event, and they set like 4 tasks, and each task had a prize associated with it. One would have been a car, one was free wheel spins, another was money, and another was like experience points. And that ranged from doing races to doing side events to having to do stuff in specific cars, all sorts of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a weekly event, and it has what they call a weekly challenge, which is the similar to the weekend events, only it's more like a checklist. So for this week, just to give you an idea, the first challenge was to drive a hot hatch. So literally get one in, and as the moment you leave the festival garage, it ticks off. Mm-hmm. Then you had to get 25 ultimate speed skills awards in a hot hatch. So just drive until the ultimate speed thing pops up. You had to do that 25 times. Then you had to beat 3 street scene races in a hot hatch. And then, what's the last one? The last one was a speed zone. You had to get 3 stars in a speed zone. And then once you do that, it allots you more Forza points. So I think it's about 300. But you've got to do them in order. If you haven't done the last one, it won't allow you to do the next one. I worked that out pretty quickly.
Okay.
And so that's your weekly event. Like once that's done, and that gives you the lion's share of the prize, which is 300 Forza points. Then they have a daily challenge every week, and that varies but they're little tasks. So get 3 near misses or whatever, those kinds of things. And you'll get 10 Forza points for every one of those you do. There's another bonus bunch of points. I think it's about 40 points bonus if you complete the weekly challenge and at least 4 of the 7 daily challenges.
Did you happen to hear my legendary horn the other night when we were running around?
No, I must have missed that.
Oh, it's the Flight of the Valkyries.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I got it in a what are they, the super spins or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And as soon as it popped up, I'm like, well, yeah, I'll actually use that one. So, of course,
you have to use it the same way I used it in Sea of Thieves.
Yeah,
flying
as you're
through
flying through the air. Yep.
Yeah. So.
Apparently, there's a Windows XP shutdown horn, according to script.
Yes, there is. There is.
I've got to find that.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of those weird horns. I looked through the list the other day. Some are quite funny. Some are just like, why are they in there? That is one of them. I'm not sure why that's in there, but hey, what the heck? Nostalgia, I guess. I've had a lot of people talk to a lot of people on community groups and stuff like that who they're really, really butthurt about the clothing and the emotes and the horns and in wheel spins. Because, like, I mean, I've got some pictures that I put up after when I first started playing, and my first wheel spin was like a Shelby Cobra Daytona, which is like a $9 million car.
Yep.
About 250 grand. And then I think I got another car. I can't remember what it was. I was too dazed by the Daytona because I love that car. And that was my first super wheel spin. And I was like, oh my goodness, that was awesome. And then I had a second one, so I rolled that. And then I got like a glitter skirt, a scarf, and some other bullshit.
Yeah.
Like an emote.
My first spin
way to ground me.
Was a Royal Wave emote, a white top hat, like it was a VIP top hat or something, like it was fancy dress sort of shit, and I think it was a mini, like a Morris mini, but yeah, so it is complete luck of the draw, and you know I've had great ones where I've earned $250,000 off the spins. I've had ones where I've earned a horn and a pair of leggings. It's just the nature of it. And unfortunately for those that are complaining about it, while I'm in the same boat because I'm in that sort of age bracket where it's stupid, it's kind of what's captured a lot of the audience now, especially emotes and whatnot, because it's an online way of visualizing, a bit of your personality. So it's I can understand it. It's the way everything's going. Everything's got emotes now. Like I still like mine. I've got the Pennywise clown dance.
Yep.
That's my winning emote. But mate, let me ask you one question. I kind of already know the answer to this, but I'll ask it anyway. You've all but finished the standard content now, so a week after release, you've pretty much finished, 40, 50 hours worth of content. Does it now hold your love, your want, your attention long enough to continue pushing through it? Like, is the core mechanics of the game, do you feel that they're there to hold you through it long enough?
Yeah. Okay. Let me put it out. Let me put this into a bit of perspective. For me, Forza's generally and Horizons more so in the last couple of years have become my game that I hang out for the year, kind of thing.
Yep.
It's my big buy. It's why I buy the Ultimate Edition of the game. Mm-hmm. It's literally my big game buy for the year, because I will put stupid amounts of hours into this game. You're right. I've finished all but most of the storylines. I've completed all the street racing, like the road racing. I've maxed that out to level 10. I've got to still do all the off-road stuff and the street scene stuff and whatever else there is on top of all that. Look, I will still play this. I'll be playing this until I'll be playing this for the year kind of thing. every week without fail, I'll do Forzathon. And I guess that's the bit for me that keeps me going is Forzathon will keep me going because there'll be new challenges every week to do. There'll be new stuff to get. I'm a hoarder in this game, so I'm hard. I want every car, and I will get every car. There is nothing stopping me. Like, I not only had every car in the last game, but I had multiples of cars. Just because it wasn't enough to have one of them. I think I had 3 HSV GDSs. Why do I need 3? Because I got 3 different setups. That's why. So I can't say yes, I'm going to keep playing this without prefacing the fact that this is my solid game.
Yep.
I'll be playing this for a long time.
Good stuff.
But yeah, like for me, yes, there's still too much to do, in my opinion. I still have to do every jump. I still have to do every speed trap, every speed zone, and not just do them. I have to be at the top of my lists. If I'm not at the top of my lists, I will make it my damn fucking business to be up there.
Yeah, well, there was one.
I went back on 3 just last week and found someone had chipped me on one of them. I was like, oh hell no!
Oh, hell, within 2 minutes of me having a chuckle playing with you the other night, it's like, ha ha ha! I just knocked you off this speed trap. Oh, what one was that? Yeah, hold on a second. And screw you, Pat. So
yeah, I'm pretty competitive.
I'm well aware of it. No, well, it's good that
games I'm very competitive at.
Yeah, it's good. It's kept you holding on to it for so long. It's good to see. But all right, well, we'll leave that one there because between the two of us, we could go around and around with Forza all night. I think I'm a car guy as well. I love my car games. I'm probably more based on the track type racing. That's what I enjoy more so than the sort of arcadey sort of feel. But then again, I've got the steering wheel and that's just where my mindset kind of is. But totally. same sort of end result. Pushing, trying to make sure that I'm the fastest. For quite a while on Project Cars number 1, I had the fastest oceanic time around Mount Panorama with a controller. So that's kind of where I think I was 7th overall, but I was the fastest person with a controller. So everyone in front of me had a steering wheel. So that was good fun. And I'm still having lots of fun with Forza. I haven't put the hours that you have into it, but I'll get there eventually. Yeah. But enough about Forza. I've had a quick go of the PS Plus games for this month. The last week, my Xbox has probably been feeling a bit lonely, but the PlayStation's been getting a workout. So the PS Plus games for this month. Have you played any of them yet, mate?
No.
Stupid question, because we know you've played all week.
Yeah, exactly. We included the Xbox all week.
Exactly. All right. Well, first off, Laser League. Now, when we released the details of this game, I think it was even last week. Laser League. It looked kind of cool. It looked very Tron-like. It was a bit of a strategy type game. What the fuck is going on? I don't understand it. I've got absolutely no idea what it's doing. It's a top-down thing. It looks very cool. It does feel very Tron-like because it's this little arena with, thousands upon thousands of people around cheering and carrying on. And that side of it's cool, but then the game starts and I have zero idea of what to do. So, initial response is delete. I turned it off and deleted it. It was... Well, I just looked at it and went, I don't have time. This doesn't feel good enough for me to have time to actually put into it. See you later. Deleted it.
Yep.
That's that one anyway. 2064 read-only memories. I said before the show that I'm a bit of a shit of a mood.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be blunt with this one. It's a retro game. It kind of feels Atari or even like old school Amiga type feel to it. Text based, that retro-y pixel look. and sort of like a point and click adventure. So you'll click on something and the text will pop up underneath. And about 48 seconds, I think, with that one. Deleted it.
Yep.
That's enough for me. Been there, I've played it. I don't understand everyone loving this retro feel, and I think it is solely to the fact that I played that sort of shit when it was new. So a lot of people that enjoy it never had it first time around. So now it's kind of a meh. It just didn't interest me. The other one that I played was The Bridge. Now, The Bridge is something as well that's very basic, but it's actually got a cool premise to it. Now, when I say the sort of art, that art that gives you a 3D look, but it kind of folds into itself. You know the ones. You know the one. Well, the probably most iconic one is that all those staircases. They sort of look like they're going up, and you can walk on them, but you come out somewhere else. Or, The Simpsons has used it. And So it's that sort of.
I can't think of the name.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of what it is.
G'day everyone, Editing Lucas here, and I've just done a little bit of research on what that staircase is that you're talking about. I find if you Google Schroeder's staircase, then you'll find that's what you're talking about. Back to the show.
What this game sort of is I've only just started playing it. I've only played the first 2 levels, and it's got this very interesting art style. It's kind of like a drawn, like a hand-drawn lead pencil art. So it's got that sort of that black and dirty paper sort of feel to it. And what you do is the picture will look 2D, but you start walking along and pushing L2 R2 will actually spin the screen around. So what you have to do is for the first level, you walk along and you see there's a door that you need to go to that's up on the next level, and at the end of the walkway there's no way to get there. There's no stairs, there's nothing like that, but you spin the screen around because the end of the walkway actually curves. So you walk around the curvature of it and you keep spinning it all the way around, and then you kind of jump off the edge, spin it back the other way, and he lands in the curve of the other side, but it looks like he's just fallen through. But because of the way the drawing's done, that 3D effect, it screws with your brain a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's nothing overly exciting, and a lot of people will find it just flat out boring, but it's interesting. It's a good little tweak on that sort of platform mechanic. It's kind of cool. I haven't deleted that one, so that's 1 out of 3. So far, so good. Of course, the big one that I've played a lot of, I've played it a few times this week just for the laugh, is Friday the 13th. Anyone that wants to play, get over, shoot us a message on Discord, Facebook, whatever. Come and join me on the PlayStation, and we'll go and play some Friday the 13th and scream and run around and laugh and just in general enjoy ourselves. Yeah, that's the PS Plus game so far this month. I haven't tried any of the ones that are PS3 only. And I haven't tried anything on the Xboxes yet.
Fair enough.
So,
cool.
Mate, the other big one, the biggest game for me this week that's taken all of my time, really, has been Spider-Man on the PS4. I think I'm actually going to be a little bit harsher than a lot of people. First and foremost, it looks fantastic. I cannot fault it at all. I'm playing it on the PS4 Pro. Yeah, I'm only playing on a 1080p monitor with the super sampling going, but it looks phenomenal.
Yeah, it does look good. I think it looks good.
Yeah. The movement, the feeling, just you feel like Spider-Man. The way that he moves, the control that you've got over it, it instantly feels familiar. It's just nice, easy. Everything's great. It just flows. Unfortunately for me, the story doesn't. So
See,
the
I haven't
story's...
seen much of the story, so I can't really comment there. But
Yeah, so what the story does...
I've had a good play of it,
So what I do, I'm one of these people that will go and, you know, what's that over there? What's that over there? So when I had 10% of the story done, I had already done all the photo challenges. I'd already found all the backpacks, and I'd started on whatever the third little side challenge that I could do was. And then I started playing the story. So I'd already leveled up. I'd already beaten a whole lot of people in the areas. And I'd already sort of progressed to a stage where I didn't need to level up before going on to the next level. So there's times when the story, you'll do a mission, the story stops, and it stops dead. And it'll be, oh, okay, I can't do anything now until such and such gets back to me, and it has X amount of time before they get back to you, whether it be Doc or, you know, Mary Jane or whoever. And you've got to wait for that to roll around, and that time's there for you to go and explore the city, do other things, and level up your character. But it's something I've already done. So there's a reason for it, but for me it just made it that sort of discontinue, because, again, I'd go and do something else, and then I'd end up spending 2 hours doing that something. Whether it be chasing after stupid pigeons or going around finding, you know, whatever's to do. So, yes, that's on me, but that break wasn't necessary. And I also found that at certain times you couldn't actually go and do what you wanted to do, whether it be another mission or another side mission, because they just disappear off the map, and they wouldn't be able to be selected because it was kind of funneling you to do this certain thing or wait for this certain part of the thing to be done. Which, you know, that's all understandable, but it was just a little annoying, and that's all it was. It was this tiny little annoyance that was just a friggin' hell sort of thing.
G'day everyone, Editing Lucas here again. I just wanted to quickly jump in here before Snoogs goes on with the next part of what he's talking about with Spider-Man, and I just want to issue a spoiler warning. Now, a little bit of spoilers coming up from Snoogs. Not major spoilers, but there are little things in there that when I played the game for the first time, I was a little bit excited when I found it out. And I just feel that if you know the sort of next things that he's saying, it may sort of take away from that little bit of that realization when you play it for the first time yourself. They're not major spoilers, like I said, so if you're not terribly fussed about small spoilers, he's not going to tell you what actually happens, but he will give away a couple of little cool bits and pieces that isn't necessarily broadcast about Spider-Man. So just a spoiler warning there. If you want to avoid the spoiler part that I'm talking about, then skip ahead after I finish and you hear the static. Skip ahead 1 minute and 52 seconds, or round it up to 2 minutes, and you'll be well clear of those mini spoilers. Alright, back to Snoogs.
The only other thing about it is flicking between characters. Now, anyone that's seen reviews will know that you play as Spider-Man and you also play as Mary Jane, and a lot of them, there's I think one or two others that you have to play as you go through it. The problem is, you're playing as Spider-Man. It's a Spider-Man game. You are a superhero. You fly through the air. You've got webs. You've got tricks. You can fight. You can be a general badass. And then you take control of this character who's whispering and sneaking through. And if they get caught or if they get seen, it's over. Game over. Sort of thing. You go back and you start again.
Yep.
So it's this complete another shift in momentum that just brings everything to a grinding halt. And for me, and especially when it gets to that point where I'm really enjoying being Spider-Man, getting into it, yeah, it's probably later than it should be, but I'm still going through with it and having a bit of fun. It's controller twisting frustration. That's how bad it gets. Like, again, it may only be me, but it was just a frustration that it was. I just think it was unnecessary. While it told the story and it had you know, it has fill-in, like it fills in part of the story about what's happening in this other part. It's just unnecessary, I feel.
Yep.
I'm sure there's reason behind it, and you know, the developers want you to take a view from this point of view or that. I just found it frustrating and unnecessary. But other than those two things, it's an 8 out of 10 game for me. It is, you know, if we were to look at sort of Game of the Year contender, God of War still beats it for me. But overall, it is a phenomenal game, and it's one of the best superhero video games that I've ever played. And that's, you know, including the Batmans, you know, all of those sorts of ones. It's actually really good. I enjoy it. A lot of people say it feels like Batman. I don't get that, but I'm loving it, and I'm not going to put it down until I've got the platinum.
You really don't see the similarities between that and Batman?
Not overly. I see the similarities between that and Infamous. That's where I feel the biggest similarity is. Really? Yep.
Okay, so I've had a quick play of it, probably like 20-30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The combat is almost a carbon copy. Like the sound effects are a carbon copy for the combat. I want to say
you're talking about like that thud at the end when you finish someone off.
When you finish someone off, you've still got that thud. The mechanics, they've still got the same sort of warning system when you're about to get shot, where it just slightly just gives you that nod to go, hey. And the combos, like the combo system is almost identical. Like for me, like I watched Rem play it first, and I just went, and from what I'd seen in the trailer, I'm just like, all right, so this is a Spider-Man that's been, you know, a Batman that's been dressed up as Spider-Man kind of thing. And when I watched the combat, I was like, oh my goodness, yeah, they're identical.
Fair enough.
So
it's been a long time since I've played Batman, so
yeah, for me, they're identical in that instance. And then the way that the sort of the even some of the collectible stuff, it's kind of a similar. Like they're not the same because they're two different characters, so they'll go about things differently.
Yeah, I'm just glad.
But the way they've kind of
Riddler trophies.
Oh yeah, it's laid out very similarly, kind of thing.
Oh, fair enough.
There's gangs. I picked up and I was able to play combat wise. Now there's some idiosyncrasies with the combat that just give it enough to be a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Like the health system in the game.
Yep.
There's that bit where you charge up. What's it called? There's like a bar that you charge up while you're combating, and normally it's used for a super, but you can also use it to heal yourself.
Push down and heal yourself. Yeah.
Yep. So that bit there helps separate between the two, because there's no way of healing yourself when you're Batman. You can't just, if you start to get too overwhelmed, you have to get the hell out. And if it's a story mission, too bad, die. You did something wrong. So yeah, I can't talk at length, but it feels very similar to me. Enough where I went, okay, I've played enough. I mean, I would enjoy sitting down and playing it without any hesitation. I could say that, but I don't have the time, and it's an open world game. I just don't want to get into, because I've got other games that I want to play. I've got games that are on the horizon, very, very near horizon, and not just the pun of horizon. I mean, quite literally, like Red Dead Redemption is coming out, and I will want to get into that. So it's just going to be one of those games that I'll start, and then I'll walk away from because there's other stuff I want to play, and then I'll never pick it up because I'll just be out of sync with the game.
Yep.
And I hate when I do that. So.
No, I know the feeling with that. Yeah, so, but that's the thing with me. I will finish it. I will push to get the platinum. There's a couple that kind of look a bit tricky, but I don't know if they actually are, and that's pretty much just the challenges that you've got to get. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. I think I've got mainly the story stuff to go. With trophy wise, so watch this space. Hopefully I'll have a nice little platinum sound in next week.
Yes. Well, I know how much you love those little trophies.
Yes, I need my little trophies. I am a trophy whore. You got any news, mate?
Alright, well, let's start with Devil May Cry.
Yep.
5.
Yep.
So in the news, it's come out that Devil May Cry is going to have a microtransaction system in it. And it seems like it's very pay to win. So there's a lot of people that aren't very happy with it. So the crux of it is, for those that haven't played it, or for those that have played it, as you play the game, you collect red orbs, right, from vanquished enemies or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then in previous games, you use them to upgrade yourself. Now, in Devil May Cry 5, they'll be used for upgrading, as they always have, but they'll also be used for if you need to be revived. If you die and you need to revive, you'll use red orbs to revive yourself. You will be able to buy red orbs with real money through microtransactions.
Why?
So, now this is just so let's put this into a little bit of perspective. This is not the first time they've done this. So, when they brought out the special edition of Devil May Cry 4, they had this system in it.
Oh, okay.
The difference here, though, is that the special edition of Devil May Cry was already a version of the game that had been built without microtransactions in mind, whereas this game seems to have been built with microtransactions in mind. And the way that Hideaki Itsuno, I always find his name ridiculous to pronounce.
Yep.
The way he's been describing it, it doesn't sound good. Like, it doesn't sound promising. Like, when someone's like, their intentions are less than perfect, or they have to explain a situation. It's a bit like a Trump press advisor, press person.
Yeah.
Right? When they come out and someone goes, hey, this, and you see them and they're like, yeah, look, this is the situation.
Yeah, you're full of shit. Yeah.
And everyone sits there and goes, oh, yeah, okay, so we're right, kind of thing. It's kind of one of those scenarios. They're using the same arguments that everyone uses for why microtransactions are such a great thing in games. It's giving the players options and how to play, and like, literally, he pretty much said, look, it's an option for those that don't have time to play the game properly. It gives them a chance to speed up and buy all the skills and stuff like that. But at the same time, you're like, I just paid full price for this game. Why would I want to shortcut this game? Spend more money and shortcut the content that I've spent good, hard money for? And then the question of...
Unfortunately, there's too many people out there that would, though.
And then the question comes about naturally, well, okay, if that's really the case, then I should be able to play the game without spending any real-life money, short of buying the game, and still get all the skill points. Well, telling you right now, in previous games, that hasn't been the case. There hasn't really been enough orbs to get everything. So you kind of choose and pick, and eventually, you scrimp and save and takes the. If they've really geared this so that there's even more skills, and it seems like there's kind of this feeling, because he described, all the easy skills to master, they're really cheap and you can just buy them whenever you like, but the harder skills to master, they're the ones that are really expensive. You're gonna have to save up for them and choose and learn how to master them before you can. And you're like, this just sounds like you're trying to gouge people for cash.
Everyone's just sitting back going, oh shit.
But here's the bit that really I find is just, this is the crux of the issue, is all they've done is monetize cheat codes.
Pretty much.
Because
that's what I'm thinking.
You can now get all the skills, so all the weapons, and then on top of that, you've now got God mode, because you can literally just spend the more money you spend, the more health you get, so the more revives you get, so you can literally just plow through the game if you've paid enough money.
Yeah.
Or let's say you get stuck. Alright, you don't have enough orbs to revive, so you get stuck on that one bit, you know, that we would like rage quit normally.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now it's sort of funneling into, well, if the problem is you just need that extra revive to get through that boss fight, because he's just nipping you right at the end, and if you had a revive, you beat him. Hey, we've got an out for that now. You know,
Yeah.
it just to me, it feels like they're milking. But look, it's a long way from being released. They have the opportunity to prove us wrong, right the ship, or change some major design of the game, to try and salvage this issue. So look, I'm not going to demonize them yet, but it doesn't look good, is all I'm saying.
Well, what's next news you got? Because I'm going to leave that one well alone. Because otherwise I'll be here all night.
Yep. GT Sport.
Yes.
So the 1.28 patch came out
Mm-hmm.
a little while ago, and it's free.
Mm-hmm.
It brings 9 cars.
And Fuji. Was it Fuji?
Yeah, Fuji Speedway.
Fuji Speedway.
Also, it brings out 3 new leagues. The Passion of Dr. Wankel.
I'm sorry, who was that? Dr. Wankel? How was there no giggle after that?
Which is in the beginner section.
Mm-hmm.
The Red Circuit Tours, which is in the amateur section, and the Group 1 Cup, which is in professional section. And then on top of that, it also has the Fuji Speedway pit lane in Scapes now, so you can take photos of your race cars in a pit lane.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, it's kind of cool. So that's my 2. Now you need to do one.
I've got a nice quick one because I don't have any information for it yet, but I've been sent it, and it was an alert. Overwatch. So I've brought some news from Overwatch over the last little while. Coming soon. Assemble your squad and get on the payload with our upcoming Overwatch Lego sets.
As in physical Lego sets?
As in physical Lego, yes.
Oh, wow.
So I don't actually have any information. That's literally all I've got at the moment. So keep an eye out. There'll be some info that'll go up, as we get it. You'll see more and more. So yeah, watch this space.
Cool. All right. Nintendo. They won their suit against Mario Go-Karts.
Yeah, I heard about this, and I was actually devastated.
Yeah, look, it's one of those things where you kind of like, that's a shame, but at the same time, you're like,
it was coming.
It was coming.
Yep.
You should have known. You should have done this better. You got no one to blame but yourself, really.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, for those that don't know, there was a place called Mario Go-Karts. It was just a go-kart center where people could go race go-karts, but you could dress up as your favorite Mario Kart characters and then drive around in themed go-karts. Unfortunately, there was no turtle shells to throw, but
you're missing the best bit. Where could you actually drive around? Drive around the streets of Tokyo.
Yes.
This wasn't just in, on a track somewhere. This was actually driving around. There were certain sections of Tokyo where you could actually drive the street in these go-karts dressed up like Mario characters.
Yep.
I thought that was brilliant. If anything, Nintendo should have gone into partnership with it and taken a cut.
Should have. Yep.
The copyright law, the copyright axe has come down, and yeah.
Yep. So they won the suit, so no suits for drivers anymore.
Oh well.
Yeah. So, Harry Potter.
Yes.
Everyone's kind of been hoping for a Harry Potter game. They've sort of been hoping that it's been in the works. Well, it's been leaked. A Redditor called Vape This Bro. So already I'm going, oh yeah, of course, I want to listen to you. Delete. Anyway, Fate This Bro recorded a video after he was asked to do some market research. What he recorded was some video of a upcoming, what looks like a pretty polished trailer for a upcoming Harry Potter game, which seems to be, and he wrote down some other details that he picked up from said market research, stating that it would be an open world third person set in the 19th century. You're a character that has a unique magic ability that has a late acceptance into Hogwarts. You'll be able to create your own character, choose your house, walk through Hogwarts and do magic. It looks like everything that a Potter geek would flip out over in a game. I'll have to dig up the video. There is the trailer's on YouTube. What he recorded. So I'll get that to you and we can put that in the...
Get that in the show notes, yep.
Put that in the show notes if you're a pothead and you're really itching to see what's out there. So, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Look, I'm sure, if it looks good enough, I'm sure my wife will be all over it. She tends to like those she likes Harry Potter. So.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. My next bit of news is Mega Man 11 is officially out. It has been released. And we've done a review for it. Have you watched the reviews yet?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Well, I got a text message because I kind of sidestepped the review. We got a copy from the developers, or the distributor, I should say, in Australia to have a go, which was Turn Left Distribution, and so if you want to have a look at it, they're promoting it. Get across their website, have a squiz. They've sent it through, and here you go. Have a look at it. Do us up a review. Let us know what you think. Now, I'm terrible at platformer games. I don't deny it. I'm completely and utterly shocking at them. So luckily, I sort of sent the review details on to Luke, and Luke went, "I'll have a crack." Mm-hmm. All right, cool. And then a couple of days later, as he started playing it, I'm getting all these messages that I won't repeat because Luke will have to beep them out too much. And the review kind of reflects that. Mega Man, for anyone who doesn't understand or doesn't know, hasn't played any of the series, it is a punish. It does not hold your hand. It does not give you infinite lives. It is an old school beat the living snot out of you, leave you black and blue, and laugh at you while you're doing it.
Yep.
And
so it's back when platformers. So everyone loses their mind for Dark Souls.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, back in the 80s, every platformer was Dark Souls.
Oh, Dark Souls is the only way.
Yeah, that's right. The only way you ever progress through a platformer is literally by learning from every mistake and learning every pattern and trying to memorize it all. And then when you got to a new part, you were like, all right, I'm going to die here. You just had to accept that you're going to die and would have to do it all over again just to get to that point and see if you could learn it. And that was the punish that was platformers back in the day.
It was. So
Mega Man was specifically punishing.
It was, and it still is. So Mega Man 11 is out now. Have a look at it if it's up your alley. Have a look on our YouTube channel and let us know what you think. Luke has given a good, honest opinion of it, and mine lines up pretty well. I've had a quick crack. And for me, I know how terrible I am at them, so I go in with zero expectations. And I didn't find it too bad, but that's because I think I very much lowball what I'm going to do and how I'm going to go with it. It felt good. Like, it looks fantastic. It's been polished up well. It's got a few new little tweaks in it, and for fans of the series, they're really going to enjoy it. What's your next bit, mate?
So, you've heard of Google's Project Steam, right?
Yes.
G'day everyone, Editing Lucas here once again, just jumping in with a correction there of a Freudian slip. Well, that's what I thought it was anyway, but Grejio has said Project Steam. It's actually Project Stream with an R in there. Just a quick little correction. Back to you guys.
Alright. So, on October 5th, so tomorrow, they are going to be doing a technical test of their latest outing in this project, and that is they want you to be able to stream games inside a Chrome browser, and not just any games. They want to do AAA rated games. So the one that is being used for the test is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And
So if a character loads up in Chrome without a face, how will you know if it's Chrome or Assassin's Creed?
it sounds promising. And look, they've done from what everything they're trying to sell in the press releases and stuff like that. And once again, there's a demo of this being played in a Chrome browser at 60 frames per second, 1080p, streamed, being played
On a 1000 megabit connection.
Probably, yes.
G'day everyone, Editing Lucas coming in once again, and I've got a little bit of information that apparently the required download rate that you will need is only 25 megabits. Sounds reasonable for NBN in Australia, so it might be something that could be supported here, but we'll find out. I guess back to you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. So like I said, what they're pushing and what reality is will be two different things. But
the clear reality is it's not coming to Australia.
Well, here's the thing. They put out a list of minimum requirements because obviously they were asking for people to do this technical test. Right? So I got a list, and essentially it was you needed a what was the word they used? A reliable internet connection, recommended 25 megabits per second. This is what the requirements were.
Okay.
25 megabits per second. You had to have a Google account, a Ubisoft account, and you had to have Chrome installed on your laptop or desktop computer.
I've got all them.
Now, the other thing was it's for US people only.
Yep.
So yeah, at the moment it's a small sort of US test. But if that's the requirement, like anyone with the middle of the road kind of NBN has got that.
Is it 25 megabits or 25 megabytes per second? Because 25 megabytes a second is 250 megabit, which would be more, under my understanding, would be acceptable.
Yeah, maybe. Look, maybe I read it wrong. I've got it written here, but it's all in capitals because that's how I write. There's a good chance I've read it wrong. Yeah, look, it might be megabytes.
Editing Lucas here, coming to save the day. To clarify, no, it is 25 megabits. That is officially in the requirements for Project Stream at this time and date. Back to you guys.
No, Squirrel, your 2.5 just won't do it, mate.
Yeah, look. Anyway, look, the test starts tomorrow. If it's a raging success, we're going to hear about it. If it's a raging failure, we're going to hear about it. If not much else happens with it, look, we're going to hear one way or the other. So this time next week, we should have some news on it. But look, it's coming. It's happening. It's the first step to Google bringing out their new console. If they can get this to work, then a streaming console isn't far away.
Awesome.
So yeah. My next one. Another leak. So yes. So if you want another Batman/Spider-Man clone, we got one coming called Justice League Crisis. Now,
I've not heard this leak.
So I don't remember where the leak came from. and apologise because I didn't put it in my notes. It either wasn't there or wasn't interesting enough for me to bother writing it down. But there's a bunch of details here. Look, take them with a grain of salt because they're still. This is off. So this is for next gen. So we're talking about years away yet.
Yeah.
But it'll be. It's said to be. It's going to be set in a range of cities, including Metropolis, and Keystone. Each of those cities are going to be a similar size sandbox to Arkham Knight's Gotham City.
Yeah, yep, cool. That's a decent size.
So
yeah.
That's a decent size. The lineup for this for the characters is going to be pretty much as you would expect: the Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern,
usual, yeah,
Cyborg, and Aquaman. And the villain is going to be Starro. So that's all I know about it so far. But as I said, it's a long time off. A lot of this might change. Who knows? So that's Justice League Crisis. Maybe not next E3, but the E3 after, we might hear something about it. So keep that in the memory banks. Keep that in the memory banks.
All right. Well, I've got a leak as well, mate.
Oh, nice.
So today, apparently, Sony has accidentally leaked next month's PS Plus games.
Oops.
So the PS Plus for the PS4 only that we've heard about so far: Bulletstorm and Yakuza.
Wow. Did you play Bulletstorm when it came out?
No.
All right, I'm just going to put it out there. Anyone that is like dragging for a Duke Nukem fix,
Bulletstorm will do it for you.
play Bulletstorm.
Yeah.
It's the same over-the-top gun violence and terribly cheesy one-liners. It's think kind of if Gears of War and Duke Nukem sort of had a love child. The characters that came out of that would be sort of what you're looking at. Big, hulking, Gears-style muscle men with, like, the quippy mouth of Duke Nukem. And look, they're offensive as all hell.
Yeah.
Call it as it is.
Well, Luke has actually used a What's That Sound for Bulletstorm a little while ago where they were just talking about shooting dicks.
Oh, listen, lady, please! We've been stuck here forever! Help us get an evac off-world!
Yeah? Go fuck yourself! You shitpaws give chase, I will kill your dicks!
What? What does that even mean? You're gonna kill my dick? Well, I'll kill your dick! How about that, huh?
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's the kind of shit that they talk about.
That'll give you a bit of an insight into what it's like.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Well, to be honest with you, mate, I've only got one more piece of news. Was just to remind everyone that Forza Horizon 4 is now had its full release, and it's available on Game Pass for Xbox One and PC.
So get on and come and play with me.
Come and play with all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all talking about it over on our Discord channel as well, so jump in there and jump in the Xbox channel and have a chat and let us know what you're thinking.
Yeah, definitely. And look, put up your pictures of all your beautiful cars and the weird places you park them. I put up a picture the other day of I parked my Koenigsegg on the top of the church.
Oh, that's a good spot to put it.
You know, I was late for a wedding, and Koenigsegg's, they tend to fly.
Yeah.
Actually, I was trolling a friend when I sent the picture because I'll digress just slightly, very quickly. So in Horizon 3, I had a friend that I played with, and we were trying to get all of the bonus boards and stuff like that. And one of them was on top of a shed in the middle of the desert. And he was having a very hard time getting this bonus board on top of the shed, at which I sent him a picture of not only had I gotten it, I'd managed to launch myself with enough speed to not only hit the sign, but also have not enough to then decelerate and park my car on top of the shed. So pretty precise, right? And then I took a picture of the car and went, haha, kind of thing. Well, there's a thing on top of this church, and he made a mention of, what a stupid place to put it. There's going to be a pain in the ass to get. So I sent him a picture saying, sorry, man, I think I've done it again. Only instead of the desert, it's a church. It's the English countryside, and instead of a shed, it's church. And instead of an RS200, it's a Koenigsegg.
Yep.
Oops. So, anyway. So that's the kind of shenanigans I like to get into in that game. All right, so back to the news.
Yep.
Bungie. They have released a logo and a title of their new IP. That's it. It's called Matter, along with a bunch of promises that this will not disrupt Destiny, because generally when they announce they're going to do something else, even include make a sequel to Destiny, the Destiny community flips out going, you haven't fixed this thing first. Fix this. Let us play a game that fucking works, kind of thing. But they said they're different teams. They're looking after two different projects. So don't worry. We're not going to downgrade our commitment to the community and the game, which I think would be hard to do anyway. So, Fallout 76.
Zing. Yep.
I had to. Fallout 76. So, Todd has been talking. They're obviously always releasing new stuff, and Todd was talking about the fact that the game has been designed where it's going to be changing on a weekly basis and a month-by-month basis, depending on how players play the game and stuff like that. And while we all go, oh yeah, of course, that sounds reasonable and all that jazz, he also said it's going to be help them fix up balances, add things to the game that the players want. Talked about just being really having a lot of agility to change the game if need be, to help player satisfaction stay, unlike someone who we were just mentioning just a second ago.
Yep.
However, because of my experience with said other group, I sometimes wonder whether this is, or I'm wondering about this, whether it's really about agility, and they're actually predicting that they're going to have problems that they're going to have to fix, and they're building, I guess, a construct that allows them to quickly deal with those problems, or whether this is them starting to make excuses for problems that they're going to have that are similar to those types of games where people are complaining and they're constantly fixing balances and stuff like that. Like original Destiny spent more time fixing gunplay balance than they did anything else, and it was changing every week, and it got frustrating towards the end. So look, I'm hoping that it's the first and not the latter, but time will tell. So yeah, so that's good to know.
Right.
My last bit of news is Valve. All right, so Valve have got themselves into a bit of hot water. They've got a new game coming out called Artifact. It's their Dota 2 inspired card game. And they had a problem with one of the cards. Now, this card is called Crack the Whip. Now, it's a buff card. And it works against, and this is the phrase, black heroes.
Oh, no.
Alright, so you can see where this has gone wrong. If we take a step back, and it's kind of been looked at, in this game, the heroes and the player cards, character cards, are broken up into 4 groups. black, blue, red, and green.
Yep.
Has nothing to do with race.
No.
It's all to do with just they're grouped in those colours.
No, I knew that's why when you said crack the whip, I'm like, okay, so I knew about the colour scheme, and it's like, okay, so what have they? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
So-
that was a whoops. There
so
was
what- what's-
nothing meant by it. It was a complete and utter whoops.
Yeah, exactly. They've come up with a card. Obviously, they've gone, oh, we need something that goes against an archetype. It was probably created before they created the groupings, and they go, this group will be affected by Crack the Whip. This card here, we'll name the group later. And then the archetypes have ended up being colors, and this one has just happened to be against black characters. But you can see how it's been misconstrued. So they've had to rename the card, and, do a few I'm sorry's. So, yeah. So it's unfortunate.
How does something like that get through marketing? Like, I know, I completely understand that there is zero malice towards towards anything about this. It is just this card affects the black deck. It might as well be just the ace, or the ace of spades or something. It might as well just be that. But the fact that someone in this day and age, with all the PC bullshit going on, has not picked that up.
Yeah. Especially when it's in the description of the card. When they were writing the description, how did they not go, oh, hang on a second.
Yeah, hold on a second. This doesn't sound right. People may misconstrue what we're trying to get at here.
Yeah.
Instead of someone going, oh, it's all right, it's the internet. They've never done anything wrong.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh. So that was a bit of a foot in mouth sort of scenario, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, they just got the crowbar out, popped their mouth out, they were good to go. So.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
All right, well, is that all for everything, mate?
That is all from me this week.
Beautiful, that's all from me. So now we will head over to Project What Would You Rather? Alright, Project What Would You Rather this week has actually been inspired by Fallout 76, Destiny, and Spider-Man. So the question I'm putting forward today, and you guys that are listening can follow along over on our Discord channel. Project What Would You Rather? When you're playing an open world game, would you prefer a game with an ending or like a 100% completion, or would you prefer a game that has ongoing continual content? Now, I'll go first just so I can sort of explain where I'm coming from and what I'm meaning. One thing that I find out that can get a little frustrating, and probably where the term grinding sort of comes from, is when you're playing these big open world games, you're beating an area, you're defeating the enemies, but it doesn't have an effect. So all you get, you might get a bit of XP, you might get a bit of loot, but sure as shit, you stand around for 5 minutes, pop, the enemies come back. But in other sorts of open world games, you have that completion where what you are actually doing is, in theory, affecting the world around you, whether it be something like Spider-Man where you're cleaning up the streets, or even the Division to a point where certain areas, while you were playing just through the story until you got to the end game, you were actually cleaning out those areas. But again, once the end game sort of came along, it all just refilled again anyway, just not to the same effect. So that's where sort of I'm looking at. I really like the feeling of achievement when you're playing a game, it's this big open world area, but what you're doing is actually having a positive effect on the area. It's not just shoot everything, get a bit of loot, get a bit of XP, stand around, wait, do it again. How about you, Greg? Where do you sort of sit with it?
Alright, so I'm a bit all over the place on this one.
Yeah.
So I'll try and use some examples of where I'm coming from. So I like having a positive effect on the outcome of the game, but if the positive effect then nullifies the gaming experience, and you sort of get to the end and you can continue playing, but everything's sort of now bland because you've like killed, like everything's sort of gone, I find that's really hard to deal with.
Well, how about put it in perspective? Okay, something you've played and loved in the past. You've fallen out of love with them, but you have loved it in the past. Destiny. Okay.
Yep.
One thing that I find with certain aspects of Destiny is you go and you clean out an area, and like for instance the EDZ.
Yep.
Okay, so you've gone and done every mission on the EDZ. You've cleaned out things. You've destroyed. You've done all your missions. You've finished everything off. But the moment you step back onto the EDZ, it's exactly the same. Nothing's changed. Nothing's started to build up. You know, the enemies are still coming out of the same places that they were coming out before. Nothing changes. If what you did, if that first run through, things started to change, you know, whether it be life coming back or, you know, just the areas that people spawned from became different, or you were actually stopping, you liberated the area so that the enemies were then trying to take the area back over. So the way that you came in, they were then trying to come in. Would that have kept you engaged a bit differently or a bit longer?
Alright, so look, I think my answer is still the same.
Yeah.
So here's kind of where I'm at. So what I dislike is, say, let me think. Trying to think of an example, because I know there's been games that have been like this. Like let's say San Andreas, for example. Part of playing San Andreas was you had the gang wars, and you had to collect the turf, right? And each area you would fight for, and it was quite extensive, and I enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
But once you've got the map locked down, you've killed all the bad guys. You've killed the enemies. The rival gangs aren't there anymore, and so all of a sudden the streets are safe for you to walk around. There's nothing kind of for you to do. Another example I just remembered was Assassin's Creed 3. I went through and I did all the side missions, and it made it easier for me to play the storyline because there was less enemies to deal with, because I nullified, there was ways of lowering the intensity level by defeating certain areas, like encampments and stuff like that. So you'd lower the hostility of the area. But then when it came to the end of the game, I could just go around and do whatever it is I wanted to do. I found that some of the challenges were really difficult to do because there was no enemies around to do them on, and just really nullified the game.
Yep.
It made the game not worth playing after.
No, that makes sense. Yeah,
finished it. Another one I found annoying was Fallout 3. It was even worse because what it did was it got to the last story mission and went, if you play this last story mission, the game's over. Right? Mm-hmm. Now I'm kind of okay with that, because I'm like, all right, well, the game's over. That's cool. I've done everything, kind of thing. I can then start again, kind of thing. But you kind of have to accept that all your progression is gone. You know, you literally do have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
So I'm playing. I still play Ghost Recon Wildlands. That's an open world game. Mm-hmm. And yes, I walk in, I kill them, I drive away. Next thing I know, I can drive back to the base and it's full of people again. Yes, it's frustrating because you don't have that sense of accomplishment of clearing out the area, but it does allow you to play challenges. It does allow content creators for the game to create more content and challenges and stuff like that to keep you interested and motivated in the game without, yeah. I'm kind of losing. Look, I find it hard to choose between the two of them. So I guess I'll sum it up in like this way: if clearing out the area, finish the game, and it's completed, like the game ends, I don't have to. There's no way of like coming back and just playing in a safe Fisher Price my first San Andreas kind of scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm good with that. But if the game, the storyline ends, and then I'm still free to do whatever I want in the game, there still has to be, those challenges still have to be getting thrown out. I still have to have people that I can have that combat with, those people that I can still live within. And I think that's why Destiny, if we come back to the Destiny example, that's why Destiny has to be the way Destiny is. Because if I clear them, it's a very small, to be fair, it's a very small space. The EDZ is not a big map. If you clear out all the enemies, then, what happens? And it gives you a better sense of it's actually a war. And to be fair, the Guardians do not have the upper hand in those areas you're going to. The enemies do. And so you killing like a patrol group is like you killing a patrol group behind enemy lines in a real war. They're just going to replace them. There's like a whole species of enemy out there that wants to kill you, and not just one. There's 3, and they're all got armies, and they're all supplying more and more troops to a fight that's literally at your doorstep. And so I guess I feel like clearing them out, but then because you're the only Guardian and you're having to go back to the tower, you're leaving that cleared out area for them just to come back again and fill it back up.
That makes good sense, yeah. All right, good stuff, mate. Well, for anyone listening on, don't forget to head on over to our Discord channel and continue the discussion over there in our Project What Would You Rather channel. Now, it's on to everyone's favourite. What's that sound? All right, last week's sound. We all got it. I think a few people on the page got it. And do you know what it was, mate?
It was the...
That's right, it was this one. It was something like that. It was this one here. Have a listen. What have I got? There we go. And of course, that's from...
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot, that's right.
I thought, since we haven't played Reverberation for a while, that I'd sort of put a bit of Reverberation into what's that sound. Yeah.
Alrighty, were you ready for this week's one? Again, this has been supplied by Mr. Lucas, and I'm yet to have a listen to it, so here we go. I know that.
Yes.
I know that.
Yep.
I don't think I've heard it all that much, but I know it.
Well, that's because you're too busy trying to get the other ones.
Yeah, I know.
To be fair, I've been hearing a lot of that of late.
Yes. That's right, Skrill. Skrill in the chat's got it. Good job, mate. At least that's what we believe it is. I don't know yet. So we'll find out. Yeah, pat yourself on the back, mate. Well done. All right, for those playing along at home, here's one more listen. All right, if you know what that sound is, head on over to our Discord channel and send us a private message or shoot us a message through our Facebook page. Thank you very much. On to last words. Alright, last words, mate. Who the f*** said that? It's easy to forget what a sin is in the middle of a battlefield. Anything pop up in your head during the night, mate?
No.
No.
No, look, I'm still in the same place that I was before. It's in a war game. It could be one of many.
Yes, well, it is. In fact, it is a war game. It's Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid.
See, look. Anyway.
Well, you got any last words, mate?
Well, I should probably give you this week's code word.
Yes.
Just as a reminder, I'm now doing them as a theme. So put them together, see if you can see a theme between them, and see if you can tell me if you think you might know what the theme is. So this week's code word, it's a pretty easy one. You all should remember this one. It's Mario. Mario.
And last week's was Master.
Master, as in Master Chief.
Ah.
So we got Mario and Master Chief. Now, before you all message me and go, they're all in computer games. That's not it.
Mario and Master Chief.
Mario and Master Chief.
Is it exclusivity?
Ooh. Maybe.
Ooh.
But all right, I'll give it to you. No, it's not exclusivity, but it was a good guess. That's good.
It's up there.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, same sort of deal. Put it anywhere. Put it on Facebook, Discord, YouTube. Just throw it anywhere to let us know that you're listening. Even, you know what would be really cool?
What's
if
that?
someone put it up on the notes on like iTunes or Podbean or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd like to see it on Podbean.
That'd be awesome. So if anyone's listening and using Podbean,
I re-listen to it. So
that'd be really cool if it ends up there. As for me, a couple of other things for last words. Get better, Rem. I hope you're feeling better soon. Missed you for this week's. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, poor little thing.
Oh,
and
also,
yes,
Mr. Lucas is off to see Venom tonight. I believe that he's going to edit in some piece here to tell us how good it is. I think that was what he suggested he was going to do.
Yeah, it was either that or he was going to throw something together, like a bit of a review.
That's probably a better idea, I think.
Yeah, whatever works for him. Be sure to check it out, whether it's here or over on YouTube or wherever.
G'day everyone, Editing Lucas here, and yes, I was just going to record just my thoughts and opinions on Venom and throw it into the podcast here, but I did forget to actually ask you guys to give me some sort of segue in the show, but Grejio goes ahead and does it anyway. What a bloody legend. Thanks for that. But yeah, I'm just going to give you my thoughts on it now. So while you guys were recording this show, I was actually out watching Venom. It came out yesterday, which was the 4th when you guys were recording, and I'm doing the editing the day after. So, what I thought about Venom. Now, just a quick backstory. I saw a couple of little review titles through Twitter, and one of them actually said Venom is possibly the dumbest movie I have ever seen. I saw crap like that, and it sort of tainted my thoughts a little bit, but I tried to throw that stuff out the window. So, watching Venom last night, and you know what? I'll just cut to the chase. It's not going to be like a massive review. I really enjoyed it. I thought Venom was a great movie. I think all the harsh reviews, I checked out some today as well, and the reviews are rubbish. I think they are really not deserved from the Venom movie. Okay, it does have kind of a bit of an identity crisis, where it's not quite sure if it's a funny, humorous movie or a dark, disturbing movie. And I think, I don't know, that may have been intentional, considering there is a little bit of an identity crisis with Eddie Brock and Venom, the symbiote, talking to him, almost like he's a bit bipolar or has the voices in his head, that sort of thing. So there is that kind of identity crisis with the movie as well as the character. I don't know if it's intentional, but I like that. There's a couple of downfalls. The leading female, Michelle Williams, I think her name is, I think she was particularly weak. The acting was a bit poor. But taking aside from that, the visual effects are pretty good. The humor in it is not bad. I've seen people comparing it to Deadpool. It's not Deadpool, and I don't even think they tried to do Deadpool humor. It's comic book humor, and there were some laugh out loud moments, which I really enjoyed. Look, having a symbiote or a big black slimy thing crawl up your asshole, well, after watching Venom, I want one of those things up my asshole. I thought it was a good movie. I give it a 7.5 out of 10 if I had to give it some sort of rating like that. I enjoyed it. It's definitely not the best comic book movie that you'll go and ever see, but it is definitely a good Venom movie. And for those that really like the Venom universe, you really do need to stick around and see the end credits little extra scene. Gives you a little bit of a hint. Well, actually, it blows what the bad guy is going to be in the next movie. Because there will be another one, no doubt. And I think it went well. I think Tom Hardy was amazing when he first joins up with Venom. Him feeling like he's losing his mind. It's great. It's brilliant. It's good acting. It's a good movie. I recommend seeing it. And if you're excited for it, ignore all the bullshit negativity that is going around in all the reviews, because it's not half as bad as they suggest. But anyway, that's all I've got for that. If you've got questions, chuck them in Discord or on the Facebook page, and I'll get back to you. Thanks a lot for hearing me out. I'll leave it to Greg and Snoogs to finish off the show. See yous.
So, having said that, speaking of movies, I watched Solo last night for the first time. I know I'm a bit slow on the uptake this time, but I finally watched it. Actually, I really enjoyed it.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah,
surprisingly good.
See, I mean, I was actually excited for it when it came out of the movies, but everyone sort of brought me down. I kind of let everyone get to me, and they're like, no, it's not gonna be good. It's not, and I sort of went, oh well, I might skip it then. I might not. I'll wait until it comes out I'll wait until it comes out on like Xbox or something before I watch it. I don't want to. But I'm kind of wishing that I'd gone and seen it in the movies now. So kind of, yeah. Anyway, I really liked it. I like it because it was actually it was different enough from the story, the main Star Wars line, and even like Rogue One was sort of more in line with the actual trilogies in how it felt, whereas this one felt like a Star Wars movie, but it was very Star Wars movie, but it's a standalone thing. It felt like its own thing. Yeah,
and it felt very akin to the Han Solo that Harrison Ford portrayed.
Yes, I thought, the guy that I can't remember his name, but he did a really good job of harnessing that Han.
Yeah, I found he did it really well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the last thing from me, mate, is I'm throwing out a gauntlet, throwing down the challenge, not the gauntlet, throwing down the challenge this weekend. So if you're listening to this on Sunday, hopefully it's just on in the background, so you're watching the big race. Of course, we're talking about the V8 Supercars are tackling the Australian home, the Australian mecca of racing, which is Mount Panorama. So, throwing down a bit of a challenge. I'm going to steal the pin post for a couple of days, and I'm going to put up some lap times, whether it be Project Cars or GT Sport or Forza, whichever one you've got. Everyone jump on there, throw us a picture of your lap times, do it in a GT3, V8 supercar, whatever you want really. Just show us what you can do. There's no real prize for it except for bragging rights. I'll probably get out there and throw a few laps in a GT3 car. I'll see if I can get back down to the 2 minute or the 2 minute 2. I think I even got down to a 1:58 when I did it in VR. So there'll be some quick times going up, and hopefully, we can have a bit of bragging rights over it for next week's show. So get out there and do it, everyone.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yep, sounds good. So that's it from me, mate.
Yeah, no, I'm
all done.
I think I'm. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, thank you very much to everyone that has listened to the show, and especially those that are still listening all the way to the end. A super special thanks to Skrill over in the live stream, who's been listening along as we've been gibbering and yabbering for the last hour or so. Thanks to you, Greg, for joining me, and for everything that you're doing in the background. And to all of our listeners, feel free to continue any of the topics that we've discussed on the show on our Facebook page or our Discord channel. Links are in the show notes below. That's all from me. And once again, I've been Snoogs.
And I have been Grejio.
See you all for the next one. Boys.
Well, here we are once again at the end of this week's show. If you're still hungry for more video game content, then head over to the Aussie Gamers Express Facebook page and give us a like. We also have a heavy presence over on Twitter and YouTube, and their links are waiting for you in the podcast description. This podcast is available for your convenience through Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and more. Thanks again for listening. Catch you all on the next episode of the Aussie Gamers Express Video Game Podcast.